Today's agenda. What is today's agenda? Let me first tell you that I will be making you understand what is the milestones, and the document is also being shared by the Mad1 team. So, how to follow that milestone for completing six core milestones that I will be telling you about. After that, next thing I will be telling today that how to set up relationship between two tables or multiple tables which you create or design inside models.py. After that, I will show you and demonstrate that how we predefine the admin credentials in our code so that when we run our application, the database is also created in which the admin details are already present. After that, I will teach you guys that how we do the registration and how we do the login and how we create the routes for it. Okay. And last thing today I will try to cover is the template inheritance property done by Jinja2. Okay. So these are my today's agenda. So, in between, if anyone is not understanding any point or how that functionality is happening, you can raise your hand in between. I will stop at that point of time and I will ask your query. Okay. So, don't hesitate while asking. Just give me a minute. I will share my screen. So, you can see I'm sharing that main link only, which I shared in the first day only. So inside this link, after the problem statement, hospital management system, comes the milestone document. Sorry. So let's open this, and this is the milestone document. If I am not audible to anyone, you can ping me at that point of time as well. Okay. So this is the milestone document. So let's go through it. So it is already mentioned that the project is being divided into these categories. There is zeroth milestone, then core requirements, which is divided into six milestones, and some recommended and optional functionalities are also there, which has been splitted into five milestones. So we have to first stick that we are going to complete our core functionalities and complete all the core milestones. It is not necessary that you have to complete in an order, like first you have to complete milestone first or second or like that. No, it's not compulsory. You can go with any order. Okay. Recommended and optional enhancements, that should be only done once you are completed with the core functionality. Remember that. And why recommended and optional enhancements are given? Because it will help you in the mat 2 project. That's why it is given. But if you don't do that, you will not be getting minus marks for that. And if you do that, then you will be not getting the plus points for that in Mad1 project. Okay, so no need to do this according to me. If you really want to work on the recommended and optional functionality, then after completing MAD1 project, you can start making your MAD2 project, because hospital management system will be there for MAD2 project in the coming term. Okay. So each milestone has a git commit message. So every milestone will be having a commit message at the last of the milestone written like this. It will be in green color. Okay. But this will be only done when you are sure that you have done all the things correctly, and you will cross verify with me. Okay. So from fourth class, not today, from next class onwards, I will be creating the breakout room. So breakout rooms will be assigned to every individual. For example, today in the meet, total 9 students have joined. Okay, so I will create 9 separate breakout rooms. Each breakout room will be assigned to one student only. For example, first breakout room will be assigned to Anam, second to Ayush, third to Akash, like this in a similar manner. Why it is being created? Because your course shouldn't be shared with anyone until you get the grades. Okay, so it will be only shared with the instructors, the team who are evaluating, and me, because I am your mentor. Once I validate that your work done for that particular milestone is correct, you can do that commit, which is written in green color. Until that, don't write this message in your commit. You can write any commit message. For example, updated the registration page, updated something, or the code is changed here in this line. Any commit message you can give, but don't give this commit message. This green color commit message is only done when you're sure that now this part will be not going to be changed, or this is final for now. Okay. So till this point, everything is clear to everyone. Keep this thing in mind. Okay. So after that comes the milestone zero. So I hope today is the third class. Everyone has completed this milestone zero, right? If someone has not completed milestone zero, just raise your hand. Very good. Everyone has done that. Nice. So it was that only to create a private repo with having a README file inside that. Then, see, this part is not compulsory, so I have not told anybody to set up a git ignore file. Okay, but you can do that later on when you will be going to create a repository for Mat2 project. Okay, so it is not compulsory. And you have committed and pushed the initial setup of your repository. Also, you have added the collaborator for Mad1 project. So this milestone is completed by you all, whoever is in the meet right now. So now again, you can do some little bit changes in readme file, and then you can give this commit message. Okay. But that will be done in front of me so that I can confirm that you have done everything correctly. And now you are committing this 0th milestone. Okay. Now, today, whatever I am going to cover will be focused on this milestone first and second milestone. Okay. So, what is here in the milestone 1? From here, core requirement starts. Okay. So, the first milestone is about database models and schema setup. Please don't rely on this particular thing, expected time and completion progress, because every one of you are unique. You have different pace of coding, different pace of understanding. So some can take very less time and some can take more time. So that is not a problem. I will help you out to make this project and complete this project with good grades. So these are the expected times. So ignore this part. Let's come to the points which are necessary. So here it is already written that you have to create models for admin. Admin will be predefined. Then doctor, patient, department, appointment and treatment. These 6 tables you have to make, which I have already given you as a task on 2nd October. Then you have to define the relationship between the tables. For example, admin is predefined, but you have studied in the core functionality in the problem statement that admin is going to create the doctors. So there will be some relationship between admin and doctor, because admin will only create doctor's profile. Doctor can't create their own profile. So all the create, read, update and delete functionality will be on admin side, not on doctor side. So there is a relationship. Then comes a relationship with doctor patient with appointment table. So what will happen? Patient will be booking the appointment and doctor will be checking that what appointment he has got, he will accept or reject that appointment. Similar with that, appointment and treatment is also having some relationship. So, 50% of the work is done when you design your models. How your tables are there are going to be created inside the models, which columns you want in each table, how each table is related to the other table. So this designing of the schema takes time. So don't panic for that how I am going to create this is so much. Okay, because everyone who starts Madvan project takes time for designing the schema. So for those who have not done the lab assignment in Madvan theory course, you can do one thing. Whatever you understand by the Madvan project problem statement document, that these are the roles or terms like admin, doctor, patient, you just design the schema on paper using your pen. Okay. And you can send me the photo in the chat so that I can see whether this styling or designing of the schema is correct or not. Whatever improvements will be needed, I will tell you that this thing is not correct, this is okay. Okay. But you have to try and start making this whole designing this whole schema. After that, the third point is that when you design this all things, you are able to create the database programmatically, which already we have done on 2nd October. I have showed to you. So once you do this all thing, you can commit anytime, okay, but don't push your code. Pushing will be only done with the final commit message when I will check whether it is correct or not. The work done by you is correct or not. Okay. Next milestone is for authentication and role based access. So you all have understood till now that your application is having three types of user: admin, doctor, and patient. So it is a multi user application. So, first of all, what are the points in this milestones? The points are: first, you have to implement patient registration and login so that patient can do the registration and login. So, login will be done by three users: patient, doctor, and admin. Okay, both doctor and admin don't require any registration, and admin will add the doctor's details. That doctor cannot register by themselves. This is already written separately. And whenever anyone who is going to log in, the role will specify to their dashboard. For example, if admin is login, he will enter into admin's dashboard, not in doctor's or patient's dashboard. Similarly, this condition applies for doctor and patient as well. Once this is done by you, cross validate with me, and then the final commit and push will be done. Okay. So this was about these two milestones which I will be covering today. Okay. Later on, there are four more milestones about admin dashboard and management, doctor dashboard and management, patient dashboard and management, and then history and conflict prevention. These are the later four core functionalities. So, according to my guess, completing these two milestones may take 2 more days for you. Maybe by Tuesday, you all can complete these two functionalities. Sorry, these two milestones. Okay, so understanding these two milestones is okay for you all, means nobody is having any doubt or confusion. Perfect. Nice. Now, just a minute. I will share my screen and let's see how to do that. Establishing the relationship, the first agenda. Let's jump to that. I think my screen is visible, entire screen is visible to everyone, right? So, yes, these are the tasks which I have already updated for you all so that it won't take time. And so, first of all, I want to show you all how to establish relationship between the tables. So, before making you understand that, first of all, you guys make this thing clear in your mind that I am not going to make hospital management system in this bootcamp. I will be making some other dummy application which will be mostly relying on your problem statement, but it will be not totally identical to hospital management system. Okay, so what I have done, you understand at the time of demonstration that what I am doing and how I am doing. Then you have to relate that with your hospital management system. And also remember one thing, the codes which I am sharing with you, please don't share with anyone who is not in the bootcamp, who are not my students. Okay, so I'm only sharing with 17 students. If these codes are going to others, they will also do just copy and paste. Okay, so don't share with anyone first of all. And also, when I'm sharing these codes, you also don't just copy paste in your application. You have to design the tables or design your codes, making it unique. Okay, because plagiarism check will be there. If two of the mentees get similar things, then they will both be discarded from the Viva process. Remember that. So, what is happening inside my application? I will tell you. I have also created a multi-user application. I'm trying to create that. So it will be as a shopping management system. Three types of user are here. That is admin, shopkeeper, which is named as seller, and third is the customer who is going to purchase the products. Okay. So admin is only one, it will be predefined, similar to hospital management. Okay. Then seller profile will be not created by seller. Shopkeeper's profile will be created by the admin. Okay, shopkeeper can only log in into its dashboard. Okay, similar to doctor. I am telling this one by one because you can slowly relate it with your hospital management system. Then comes the next, customer. So customer is here to order the products or purchase the products from the shopkeeper. Similar in your hospital management, patient is doing with doctor. Okay, now comes that there is one storage table. So every time when a shopkeeper's profile is created by the admin will define that this is the storage capacity of the seller, not more than that he can keep in his shop. Okay, so that storage capacity will be defined at the time of registration, but when the shopkeeper logins into its account, he will he will take some things, the products into its shop so that he can show in his dashboard that this product is there. So for that, storage table is there. Then order table is for taking the orders of the customer. Okay, customer can go to their dashboard. They can see these are the sellers. They are having these particular products, and then they can order it, and that order can go to shopkeeper, so they can either accept it, reject it. Like this it is happening. So now you can understand how it is related to hospital management system application. Till this point, is it clear, or did I went very fast? I want everyone's review. Okay, I hope everyone is understanding. I know it is overwhelming because now you have to think of two application. First, you have to understand what I am doing in my dummy application. Then you have to relate it with that hospital management. But if you don't understand, you can ask me in between. I can understand right now it is very confusing. So I am doing the recording. After the recording overs, you can revisit the recording and watch it again for better understanding. Okay. So now you first understand. Yes, please tell Sankalpa. Yes, please tell.
Just I wanted to ask the question that how will the storage be related to
Actually,
this?
Sankalpa, you are not audible because of your background noise. You can type your doubt. Yes, you can type your doubt.
Okay, sure.
See, first, let's come to hospital management system. When the account of doctor is created by admin, doctor visits its profile, means his dashboard, sorry, by logging into its account, and he visits its dashboard. Then he can give his dates of availability for next 7 days, right? Similarly, what is happening in my application, which I am demonstrating, the seller's account is getting created by the admin, and when seller logins and enter into his dashboard, he knows that this is his storage capacity. Now he will give the amounts, like I have the storage capacity of 10,000. So now he will select 100 kgs of rice, 10 kgs of sugar, like this. Once 10,000 is over, he cannot add more quantity into its dashboard, means into its storage. So that storage is being done for every seller by each seller. So you can see that this one belongs only to seller. When the shopkeeper open its dashboard, he has only the authority to fill these things inside his dashboard. Are you understanding that? Okay, perfect. I tried my best to make it as similar as hospital management system, but we have been strictly told by the instructors that we cannot make the exact application which is in that term. Okay, so please try to understand how these things are related. So let's first stick to first three table only: admin, seller, and customer. two guys are having three users, that is admin, doctor, and patient. So first understand how the relationship is being established. So there is one foreign key. Similarly, here right now you studied about primary key. There is foreign key as well. So for one table, if one column act as a primary key, so that primary key wants to be taken in second table as well, then it becomes a foreign key. This is clear to everyone how we make the
Yes,
foreign key. Yeah, perfect. Because I know some of you are having some gaps in DBMS as well. So I am explaining this much basic. Okay, so don't get bored about that. Next thing is that, so in my application, you can see admin is creating shopkeeper's account, seller's account. Okay, so it is having the relationship with the seller. So seller should know that this admin has created my account. So you can see I have given one foreign key here, admin underscore id db dot column. The data type is integer, and after that I have told that this will act as a foreign key. This is the correct way to write it. And then I have given the name of the table. See, right now you cannot see where is the name of the table, so directly this class name is taken as table name in small letters. So admin is written here, and after that the column name, which is taken as a foreign key, is written. So generally we take primary key only as the foreign key in another table. Now you can ask, what do you understand, what do you mean by table? So double underscore table name, this is the explicit way of giving the table name. You can give it as also admin table. Okay, so now it, the name of admin class will be, the table name will be as admin table. So wherever we will be using foreign key, we have to write the table name. So it will be written like this. Is it clear to everyone? But that is like writing more and more. So I skipped writing the table name. But this is also one of the way. Now you can see one by one. First, look the admin class, that what are the columns made here, and if anyone is having any doubt, you can ask me. Before that, you can see once the foreign key is set up here, I have told the admin class that he is having the relationship with the seller table. Okay. Why? Because once parent and child is connected, child is knowing that he is coming through the parent. But parent should also know that he is having a relationship with the child. I hope this is clear why we write in both the tables different things. At child we write the foreign key, at parent we write the relationship. In relationship we write the class name, not the table name. So it is written in capital S because the class name always starts with capital letter. So the class name is written. You can ask me what is the use of backref and lazy. So backref is for making the server understand that this particular thing is created by admin. Okay. Or for example comes storage. So this will be getting created by the storage will be getting created by the seller. So yahan, so here it is already written that backref to seller. Now you can ask me what is the use of lazy equals to true. Lazy means lazy, means who don't like to do the work. So similarly, when server will be running our application, the database will be getting created. So it will create the whole database with all the tables, all the columns. So we have mentioned that this relationship, wherever we have used in our code, will be loaded at the last. No need to load it in the first. First, the necessary columns of the table and tables should be loaded. Okay. So lazy equals to true has been used here. Why I am explaining each thing? Because anything can be asked in your Viva. And now the Vivas are very strictly taken. Okay. So first of all, I want everyone to go through admin class, seller class, and customer class. I will push my changes so that you can go to my GitHub repository, have a look there, and if any doubt, you can ask me. Just give me 1 second. I have already committed that. So I am just pushing it. I hope it has been pushed. Open models.py. Yes, it has been pushed. Please go through it. Three classes only: admin, seller, and customer. Understand how these relationship and columns are created and established. And if anyone is having doubt, you can raise your hand. Just give me 2 minutes break. I am coming by filling my water bottle. Okay. In between, if anyone has query, you can raise your hand and you can type your doubt in the message box as well. Did everyone go through that? I hope everyone has gone through that and you guys have got some idea that how you are going to establish relationship in your application between admin, doctor and patient. Similarly comes the other tables as well. In your application there is department, treatment and appointment. So here I have created storage and order because order will be given by the customer and will be accepted by the shopkeeper. Okay. Similarly, storage will be filled by the shopkeeper itself. Okay. So now I hope everyone can design their tables more nicely, whatever they have done till now. And also, only 6 people have told done. So, what about others? You have not completed the task which I gave, and I also gave the time of 1 day as a gap. So I just want the answer why you were not able to complete the task. Was it more than enough means it was not according to your capacity or what was the problem? I want excuse from everyone. Release it. I hope I am audible to everyone. Yes, please tell them. Only 6 people have replied done. I can see that previously only 7 people done that. What about others? Balachandran, Anam, you have not done. Sankalpa,
The second activity also I have done, just not posted that.
you should reply them then
Okay.
here. If I am
I'll
always replying here and just giving you the reminders, sending you the recordings, it's your also responsibility and duty, everyone, that you should also tell that the task has been completed, which I gave you. Fine. See, I am trying my best so that you all can submit your project within the deadline and also secure good marks. Okay, this is my ultimate goal. I don't mentor students to just submit the project or don't submit the project or get low grades. Many of my students have got S and A grades only. So I expect same from everyone who are my mentees in this term as well. So please try to complete the task and respond where I'm asking you all to respond. Okay, try to do that. So next thing which I wanted to cover today was how to set up the admin credentials or how we are going to predefine the admin credentials here. Some of the codes I have already done in the afternoon, today afternoon, so that it won't take time because when I am doing coding and then I'm making you understand, it takes too much of time. So please give time and you can just explore how I have established my models.py and then you can work on designing your schema either in the paper and then showing it to me or you can design it in your notepad or in the VS Code also as well and then you can show me and then you can proceed ahead. Okay. So next thing was the admin credentials. So admin credentials will be getting set up inside app.py. And how we are going to do that? I am going to create a function. The name of the function is create admin. Okay. So what is happening inside this function? Let us see first that. So first of all, if the tables are not created, if the database is not created, it will create the database. Previously, on 2nd October, I was doing these two things individually. No function was created, nothing. But now, inside the function, I have told that first check if the tables are not there, then create that tables. After that, what is happening inside that table, it will first check that this username admin is inside the admin table or not. Why? Because first tables will be created. What are inside my tables? Admin, seller table, customer, storage and order table, right? And each table is having some columns. So first of all, the function told to create that table if it was not there. Then it went to the admin table, the first table, and it went to username column of the admin table and searched for this username called as admin. So it is going to store that inside one variable named as admin. And now it will check that if the admin is not there, if I already find that inside admin table, then no problem. It is not going to create the second admin. But if it sees that this admin is not present inside the admin table, then what it is going to do, it is going to create the admin table. So I have again created a new variable admin, same name. You can give other name as well. You can give the function name also unique. For example, make admin or admin underscore initialize or initialize underscore admin, anything. These names can be given to make your function unique. Okay. So what is happening here? I am assigning the values inside admin table for each columns which I have made in admin table. We don't have to give the ID. ID is acting as a primary key. It will be automatically incremented once data is given inside that table. So we don't give ID, but we have to give the username, email, contact, password. Role column, I have set it as default admin. Okay, so we don't have to type this as well. So what are the values I am typing here? I am giving the username. So this username can be anything. Aditi K123. This is the username. Then I have given the email ID as well. Then I have given some contact. So first let me go and check whether I have given contact as integer or string. No, I have given it as string. So I have to write it inside quotes. Then comes the password. Password I have set as admin123. Okay. And then I am adding this variable admin. You can directly do that you don't create a variable and save everything. You can directly copy this thing and you can directly add inside the database. But I have made the things more clear for the other person so that they can understand what is happening. So I have created that and stored inside the variable. Then that variable is getting added into the database and then it is getting saved into the database. Remember, here we don't use save word, we use commit. For database, for GitHub, we use commit word for saving the data, saving the work, saving the code which we have done. Okay, so now it is saved. So this is how we predefine the admin credentials. We initialize the admin credentials. So now when we will be running app.py, database will be getting created and it will be having these detail automatically saved. If we run again the application, then it will be checking that it is already present, so it won't be creating the second admin. Okay, so this is how we set up the admin credentials. Yes, Divya, please ask.
Ma'am, can we make a separate user table like we have to log
Yes.
in all the three roles we have given admin, patient, and doctors. They
Mhm.
all can log in by the same page, so we can make a separate user table in which their user ID and password all the given.
See, you can do anything. This approach is also possible. We can do like that. Like you can, what I can understand from your question, that you can create the user table and in that only you are going to save everything and the role will be defined, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can do that. But I have made it separately because it will be understandable by anyone, any student, anyone whom I am going to show it. It will be understandable by me also because I can understand, okay, this table is storing only this data, not other data. But role can also help you to configure which is admin, which is doctor, or which is patient. So that is also okay. You can go with that approach also. But let me cross validate that key it is working fine or not. Okay. Okay, Divya, understood. Fine. Good. Nice. So this is how we set up the admin credentials. So let us see that we have created a function. But can someone tell me that after creating the function, can we run the application? We can create the database and the admin details will be there? Yes or no? After creating only the database, can the admin will be set up inside the database or not? Yes or no? Just raise your hand who are in the favor of yes. Okay, two only. Fine. Good. No. Sankalpa and Anam, your answer is wrong. Now, can anyone tell me, those who have not raised your hand, why only setting up the function will not help us to create the admin inside the database? Except Sankalp and Anam, any one of you reply me that. Okay, I guess then you guys didn't understand my question, right? Just tell me that how we use the function. Very basic question. Fine. If the function is created, we have to use this function, right? Now, I have nowhere called this function. I have to call this function so that that function property can be used for whatever purpose that function is being created. So let's go at last. Before running the application, I have called that function. So now when I run the application, database will be created as well as the admin credentials will be predefined inside the database. So this is how, or this is why we create function, we call function. So this is the property of making the function. Remember that in your mind. I don't know why any one of you can't respond to this question. It was easy question. It can be asked in Viva. Why every time I tell that it can be asked in Viva or this thing can be asked in Viva? Because I know. Okay. And that's why I'm telling don't share the materials which I'm sharing with you. Whether it is recording, whether it is GitHub repository, anything. Any short details, any minute details which I share with you, keep it with yourself. I'm not going to share it with anyone. Okay. So I have called this function. So let me see. You all can see that there is no instance file here. Why? Because whenever we do changes in models.py, a single dot also is getting changed. And we want to see that change in our database, we have to delete the database to see that change. So I have deleted my database because I have changed my tables. So let me run the application again to show you whether the database is getting created with this latest, 1 minute, this latest tables and their columns or not. So it ran. Now the database has been created. You all can see it is having 5 tables, and inside admin table it is having these details which I pre-filled inside the function. Okay, it has automatically taken the primary key. The ID is automatically taken. Now customer table, order table, seller, storage. Everything is having the columns which we have defined. Okay, let me stop the application. Application is stopped. Again, I am running the application. I am refreshing the database. Can you see there is no other admin, second admin Aditi Kate 123 being created here. Okay. So that was the condition written inside that create admin, that if there is no admin with that username, then only the admin is going to be created. Okay. So I hope this functionality of predefining or initializing the admin credentials is understandable by everyone. I just want a thumbs by everyone if you all have understood this. What about Balachandran? You have not given thumbs. Balachandran, are you in the session? Nice. Very nice. Okay, let's go to the next functionality, that is the registration functionality. The name is registration, but what we will be doing, we will be creating new user. Okay, so that will be helping you whenever you create any new thing, whether it is patient registration, whether it is doctor creation, doctor's profiles creation, or whether it is appointment creation, or like that, similar to like that, anything. Whenever we are going to create something, it will be done in a similar manner. Please remember this thing. It will be helping you in the coming time in Mad1 project. So I'm going to show the registration of customer, because customer will be only doing the registration. Admin is already predefined, and shopkeeper profile will be created by the admin. So who is going to do the registration? Only customer in my application. So I have made a registration page on that day. What things I am going to take at the time of registration? Let's first see models.py. Customer is having the columns username, email, contact, password. So just give me 1 minute, 1 minute. One call is there. Thank you for waiting. Sorry. Yes, I was telling that we are going to create the registration functionality. So, when we create the HTML page, we first see the model, that what are the columns whose value we have to type. So username, email, contact and password we have to type. Other thing will be taken by the database. Primary key, role is already set default as customer. Then this status is also assigned as active. I will tell you why I have created this column active, because if you remember in your hospital management system, admin was having the authority to blacklist or deactivate any doctor's or patient's account, right? So similarly, here admin can blacklist or delete any customer's or shopkeeper's account. So right now it hasn't been blacklisted or deleted, so that status is shown as active. Otherwise, if it is going to be done, then it will show either blocked or deleted. So I don't have to fill this role or status as well, and the ID is going to be pre-filled. So username, email, contact, password. Four things I need at the time of registration, which I am going to type. Whoever is going to do the registration, not I am, the customer. So now come to the HTML page of customer. You can see that previously I have told that a form tag is created inside that labels and inputs are written. Whatever inputs we are going to take and whatever labels we are giving to give for that input box. So that for four columns we have written that, and then comes the submit button. You can see one new thing here, that is these curly braces and percentage marked sign thing, that I will cover at the last. This is the way of writing the code when we write the code using Jinja 2 in HTML. So this I will cover at last. Rest, how you are creating the form, that is understandable by everyone, right? Is this clear? That how we created the registration HTML page. Now I have created the HTML page, I have created my models, but I have not connected these things. Means if I run the front end and type some data, some value of username, email, contact, and password, how it is going to be getting saved inside the database. So that connection is established using or by creating routes which act as a backend. Okay, so let's come to backend. After this first route, we have created register route. Okay, so you can see now we can design our routes path. I have given the path of my route as slash register in line number 26. And I have defined two methods, get and post. So remember this. From now onwards, after the first route, the home route or the basic route, which we call it as, after the basic route, whatever routes we create using Flask, we have to define the methods. And get and post, we have to define every time. Because I hope you all are knowing that get and post are two of the main HTTPS uh, methods, request methods. So, what is the use of get? What is the use of post? And how many other HTTPS request methods are there? Please search that. That will be asked in your Viva for sure. Okay. So, search that, read it about that, and understand why we use get and post. Because I have asked to many students that are you using any HTTPS request method? They reply yes. When I ask what are those methods, they start with telling put, post, get, delete, and something like that. Then I ask, show me where you are using put method. So now they cannot show me put method because in Madven project, mainly students use only get and post. There is no use of you using the put method or delete method or any other methods. So there they get caught that there is having some loophole they are not understanding, or maybe they have not done the project by themselves. So these are some questions, fundamental question which will be asked in your viva. So remember this. Go, if I am telling this again and again, then it should be coming in your viva. Okay. So study what is the application or what is the use of get method, post method, and how many other HTTPS request methods are there. Fine. Now, after giving the name of the path of my route, I have defined the function. And as I told, I am following some coding standards. Okay. So I will give the name of the path, function name of route similar to the HTML page's name. My HTML page was register.html, so I gave the path and function as register so that I can track my code if I find any error. Okay. You can also implement these type of practices in your coding life as well. This is some good practices. So now comes the function. What I am doing inside the function. I am trying to do the registration. Means I am going to create something. So what will happen? It will fetch the data from the front end and it will try to retrieve the data, try to get the data from the database. Okay. So this process is done by the post method. So post method is getting requested. Then we attempt for sorry, I thought I was speaking, but there was some error. Sorry for that. Yeah. Is everyone here in the meet? Yeah. You should tell that if I'm not audible to you guys. Yeah. So I was telling now at the time of creating anything, we request the method post. So that I have done in line number 28. And whatever things I have typed in my form in the front end, that will be requested. So I have typed username, I have typed email, contact, and password. So now you can ask me what are these inside the codes? From where we are taking these? So we are taking this from our HTML page whose ID we have defined as username, whose ID we have defined as email. So these are the IDs value. These are the IDs value. Okay, okay. So these IDs value is getting fetched in from the form using request method. Okay, so request is one of the function of Flask which I have imported here. Okay, before I have imported only Flask and render template, but I have imported here now request function as well. This will help us to request the methods, the values from the form. Okay, so I have requested this. For example, when I ran my application, I typed username like XYZ, email as xyz@gmail.com, contact some number, and password 1234. So now what will happen? This route will be coming into function. It will request these all data and store in this variable. So these are the new variables. Okay. You can give any other name as well, but I have given the same name. Okay. So I have stored these all the datas inside these new variable, and I have stored my password using this functionality, generate password hash. So what will happen? Generate password hash will store my 1234 password in some code like manner which is not read by human. Means it will be not human readable. Nobody can detect that what is the password. So that will be done using this function. You can ask me how we are going to use this function. So this function will be imported from this library, virjuk.security. Generate password hash function will be used at the time of registration, and check password hash will be used at the time of login. Okay, because if a hash is being created, then something will be done. That hash will be validated by something similar to that, right? So we are using check password hash. Now hash password has been set up. We have defined the method how it is going to be set up. See what happens, why I have predefined the method. Any hash code will be set up for 1234, and at last it will be having this particular thing written at last. Okay, so it is one of the coding practice which I have directly copied from the documentation of Flask. So don't worry about that. This will be not asked in your Viva. Now, here I am doing one cross check as well, that whether this username or email is already existing or not. Okay, so this is optional thing. You can do it or you can skip this part as well. Okay, but before making you understand this, let's first go how the registration is done. So once all the things has been saved, taken and stored inside the variable, we create again a new variable, that is new customer. And what is happening? It is storing all the details in the table for each column. The column names are username, which is in blue color. Okay. And the variables who has stored the data is in white color here. Okay. Then this variable is added inside the database, and then it has been saved. Then a flash message is shown that registration is successful, and it will redirect us to the login. Now here comes two new functions of Flask, redirect and URL for. So whenever our route path changes, okay, slash register changes to slash login. So when it is happening within that route, when we are writing the code within that route, we don't write render underscore template for that. We write redirect. So it will show that now the path will be changed to slash login. And for writing redirect, we required URL for. So there is one URL for the function login. And what is that URL? That URL is called as login. So we write that URL for, and inside the quotes we write the name of the URL. And if any error comes, it will again go to register page only. So here I have written render template. So now you can ask me why you are writing render template here. Why not redirect? Because the register route is for registration. So that will happen inside register only. Means register route will show the registration page only. So it will be showing its assigned HTML page itself. So there we don't need redirect. Whenever some other HTML page comes, we use redirect. And this is happening inside code, not happening in the front end. Is registration part clear for everyone? How registration is happening? How we create a new user? Okay. I will run the application and I will show you that as well. Just give me 1 minute. I will run the application as well. Yeah, this is okay. I have not given buttons here right now. So I will directly type here slash register. Okay, this is patient register. Uh, Let me give some username. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1 minute. There is a problem with hash. Sorry, I wrote the method wrong. It should come like this. Yes, you can see a flash message is also shown, and the method which I used SHA256, that has been discarded by the Flask, which I forgot. So you can see right now in front of you only how I debugged. Okay, I directly went to the Flask documentation and searched for this because I was knowing that the documentation is having the latest code, the latest method for saving the password in hash manner. So never rely on AI tools directly. Okay, first of all, try to use the documentation. And if not, then you can go and ask me because I am your mentor. If not, then you can go to some YouTube videos. You can search on Stack Overflow. And if nothing works, then you can go to AI tools. Okay. Customer's detail is saved or not. So yes, the details are saved here, and you can see now the password has been saved in this manner. So it has started with that method name and some hash code is generated. So this is not human readable that I have set a password 1234 and somebody can understand. So for understanding that, the function is also there, check password hash. Okay, so that comes inside uh, login route. So before going to login route, let me show you one more thing. That in register.html, how my registration page worked. I have written two properties inside my form tag. That is the action and the method. So in action, I have told that this is the route who is going to call you. So I have given the path of that route, and method is post, because we are not going to fetch the details only. We have to fetch the details and save that details. And whenever it is going to be asked, we have to give that detail. So post method is used here. Okay, so remember, if you don't write these two things, again error would be coming. Okay, so registration functionality is done by my side. I hope everyone understood that. Perfect. Let's go to the login functionality. So you all have understood that we have three types of roles. So I have just created only one single login page, but you all can create three login pages. One login page for admin, second for doctor, third for patient. Okay, these are some choices which you can make, and you can work on that independently. Just a minute. Anurag, you have not joined from your IITM mail ID. Anurag, am I audible to you? Leave it. Please try to join using student mail ID only, and the time was 6 p.m. But I can understand that I told 1 hour before only, so you are joining at 7:20. Fine. So I was explaining login page. So this is totally dependent upon your choice whether you want to make only single login page or you want to make three separate login HTML pages. Okay. So I have created only one where I have given the options in my role that whoever role is going to be done at the time of login, that will be selected, and I am taking username and password. Here also in the form tag I have given the action, that which URL or which route path will be calling this HTML page. So that HTML page will be rendered. So the route is /login. /login route will be calling login.html using post method. Why post method? Because we will be typing some data as well, which will be fetched and shown. Let's go to the route. I have defined the route path as /login, given the methods, given the name of the function. Again, request method has been done. And now whatever I am doing in my form is requested from the form and saved inside the new variables, role, username, and password. One new variable I have created at user, and I have set the value as none. Why? Because now it will be checking these three roles, that if the role was selected as admin, user will be getting queried from admin table. Okay, similarly with shopkeeper means seller and customer. So once it is getting stored the value of that, for example, as a customer XYZ123 who tried to log in, his all details will be saved inside this user variable, and now it is going to be checked that the password is matching or not, the role is matching or not. If these two things, sorry, if these three things matches, then it will log in successfully and it will go to its dashboard. And if it fails, then it will be coming the message as incorrect password or something like that, that no user or no customer found with that username, etc. So these are the messages of error, and this is the message of success. And if I missed any of the error or we are not able to do the successful login, it will directly render the login HTML page only. So here I have written render underscore template. But in redirect, I have written the dashboard. The dashboard HTML, sorry, the dashboard route will be rendered. Okay. So login part is also similar to register, but here it is not getting added into the database, not getting committed into the database. It is getting checked whether the details typed at the time of login is matching with the data present inside the database or not. Okay, is it clear to everyone how login route is being created? Okay, let me log in it. The role is customer. The username was XYZ123. I don't remember the username. 1 minute. Customer XYZ12. Okay. And password was 123. But now if I log in also, it will be not going to the dashboard. It will be throwing error. Why? Because I have not created the dashboard route till now. Okay. It gave incorrect password. I don't remember the password there. Maybe. Okay, let's try with admin. That is the admin details are saved inside app.py. The username is ITK123 and the password is admin123. Okay. Okay, this error is coming because we are not having the dashboard. I understood that. So now you can understand that how login and registration route works like. If anyone is having any doubt, you can ask me, you can raise your hand. Now, I have already created three dashboards pages. Nothing I have done, just created three pages. Admin dashboard.html, customer dashboard.html, and seller dashboard.html. Okay, why I have created that? So that when I do the login, it should redirect me to the login page. Okay, so now I will be creating the dashboard pages which will be directly rendering me to the it will directly render me to the HTML page. Right now I am not showing any data. Okay. When you show the data, I will show you later on in the next session that how we show the data as well. So what we have to write. When we don't add or create anything, we just want to show the data which we generally do for the dashboard, how that is going to be shown uh, in the dashboard using Flask routes. Yes. So I have created these three routes, very basic route. You can see the name of function and path is similar to the name of HTML page. And now again, let's go and try to log in from admin. It was 1 minute. Uh, okay, did I stop my application? Yeah, my application has been stopped. Sorry. I've again ran the application. Oh, login, admin. Let me see for customer. I think the password of admin has been set differently. Okay, I remember that. 50121234. Yes, now you can see the URL has changed from slash login to slash customer dashboard. But I have not created anything in my customer dashboard, so it is showing empty. Uh, Nothing is there, so it is showing empty. But we have successfully logged in. So this part has been done by me. Now I will, before going to the Jinja 2 part, the template inheritance, I have already given the task which you can see in your from your laptop as well in your in the GitHub repository, my GitHub repository. Yes, that is from 11th point, that establishing the relationship. Once done and database is created, commit your changes. Every time I am telling commit, don't push your changes. Then you have to set up or predefine the admin credentials, commit that change as well. Okay, right now stop with this because I have not taught you this. Then you have to go with 17th pointer, creating a route for patient registration. Those who have completed till 10th task, you have created a registration HTML page. So I am telling to create the route for patient registration that will render that HTML page. Then you have to create the route. So I have written in 18th pointer in a manner that only one login route is going to be created. But those who want that there should be separate login route for admin, doctor and patient, you can create three separate routes as well. Okay, that is also not a problem. Then you have to create a basic HTML page for dashboard of these three users. Now you can ask me that there will be some conflicts that you will be not understanding that how you are going to design your dashboard. Then go to the wireframe. This is the wireframe, and you will get the idea that what you can show in your admin dashboard. This is how you can define your admin dashboard. I hope it is visible to everyone, right? So you can design hard coded dashboard of admin. Similar to that, you can design doctor's dashboard. Similar to that, you can design patient's dashboard. Take the help of wireframe. Okay. So after this patient's dashboard, just create a basic route for these three dashboards. The way I have created right now in front of you. Okay, it will only render whenever you do a successful login, it will directly go and show your dashboard. Only this particular thing is requested by my side. After these things are done, again commit your changes. Okay, and once I cross review that, then only you are going to push that changes. Okay. So if you complete till 26 point, your first core milestone and second core milestone will be done. Okay. So before ending up the session, let's complete this 15th and 16th point. So what was this? Actually, you all have seen that I was writing flash message at the time of login. So it is having two symbols, danger and success. Two statuses there, danger and success. In register as well, it is having danger and success. It is having danger here, and when the registration is successful, success here. So two status I have defined, but how it will be getting used? So I have created one base.html page. Okay, and what I have given, I have told that title can be changed. It is dynamic. So whenever base.html is inherited by any other HTML page, they can change their title. Okay, so that part I have told that this part you can change. So I have told that using the symbols of Jinja tool. Then here comes the flash message. So I have written the condition that what are the things it has to show when success is coming and what it has to show when danger is coming. I have written that using Bootstrap. You can also write that. Okay. You can directly go to the documentation of Bootstrap and you can see There are, just a minute, 1 minute. There is two links which we have to include. Those links are called as CDN links. Okay, this link and this link. One start with link and one start with script. So you can see two links I have also included. I have just copied from the documentation. The first link should be pasted in the head tag, and the last link is the script tag should be pasted just before body tag ends, which I have copied from the documentation. And this is how all coders do. Okay, this you can also do. This is the proper way of doing the and implementing the bootstrap in your code or in your application. So bootstrap part is optional. You can explore the documentation. There are some class codes in bootstrap which you can use for styling, but later on, because I am just telling students to complete core functionalities by doing only HTML. No styling, no CSS, no bootstrap. But if you are interested, you can explore this bootstrap. It is more good, easy, and easy to understand than CSS. Okay, so just read this message. What I have written. I have given the condition that there is two category, success and danger, and that message will be getting flashed. Okay, so this part you have to read and understand. If anyone gets any confusion or having doubt or any problem in understanding this flash message if condition code, then you can ask me. So how Jinja 2 is used here, let me explain you more. Jinja 2 is basically used to make your HTML pages dynamic, because HTML pages are static. Okay, we cannot show the changes in next page in a similar way. We have to do the same coding again if we want a similar page to show in the next page as well, similar styling in the next page. So for that dynamic thing, Jinja 2 help us to do inside HTML. We write Python codes also using Jinja 2. You can see if condition, for condition. These are written and these are the Python's code, but it is written inside HTML page. How? By using Jinja 2. Okay. And that thing I have inherited inside login. I have written the line extends. Extends means it is inheriting this particular HTML page. And now whatever portion I have the authority to change, I am changing. That is the title. I have been given the permission by base.html. So I am changing that. I have been given the permission to change the content. So I am changing that. Remember that whatever I am changing, I will start that and I will have to end that as well. Okay, remember that everything has a ending. Don't forget this end tag. Okay, similarly, I have inherited in register.html also. I have first told that I am inheriting this HTML page, then I am changing the title, then I am changing the whole block's content. You can inherit this in admin dashboard, in customer dashboard, and seller dashboard as well. Okay. But in home.html, it was not needed, so I didn't do that. Till this point, everything is clear to everyone. All the things which I covered today is clear to everyone. Okay. Divyani, any reviews? Or today's session was good for you?
Ma'am, it was very nice.
You understood everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.